here on the show today we have a well-known Brony artist named pixelkitties.
Hello, thanks for having me on. This is so cool.
Thank you for being on the show.
Welcome to our first episode of Brony Banter.
Yes, the first one.
I'm Dan, and
I'm Shifting Purple.
And this is Brony Banter.
Huzzah!
So, pixelkitties.
Yes.
What are some of your I can't even talk already. What were some of your inspirations for your art?
Do you mean in general, like as in the pony art specifically, or do you mean just all my art where I started, things like that?
Let's start with all your art and then narrow it down to the pony related.
Well, I'd like to say that My Little Pony, like old My Little Pony, was the catalyst for all my future artistic endeavors. But some of my earliest memories are of drawing Princess Peach, aka Princess Toadstool, back in the day. I remember drawing her on like everything and annoying my family with, permanent marker, Princess Peach in the refrigerator kind of thing. But as I grew up, I became really interested in comic books. And for a while there, I really wanted to be a comic artist. In my formative years, I was really influenced by Bernie Wrightson, who did Saga of the Swamp Thing way long ago, and Mike Mignola, who does Hellboy. And as time went on, my interest changed. I realized just how cutthroat the comic industry was, and I decided to switch to this burgeoning video game industry that seemed much more welcoming. And now that's kind of cutthroat too. But whatever the case, that's sort of the track I took. I started drawing Princess Peach, then wanted to do comics, then went back to video games. So now that's what I do. I do concept art and 3D textures and a little bit of 3D modeling.
I'll say like your art is like one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. Like, of course, a lot of stuff I do is just pencil sketches. Like a lot of artists I see are really good with pencil sketches, and I have no skills in digital art whatsoever, and you're really good at it. I just gotta say that.
Thank you so much. But I think it works that way, because if you see some of the work I do at work on a daily basis, just sit down and brainstorming and let's draw this out. My drawing is terrible. Like my life drawing, was my worst class when I was in art school. But I love digital art. I love picking up a Wacom tablet or a mouse and going into Photoshop and working on that. So I think everybody gets their one discipline. I'm really envious of the people who can do both.
I heard that you... Oh, my volume's getting loud again. I heard that you use a mouse instead of tablets for most of your work. Is that true?
Yeah. When I'm coming up with a comic or a piece of pony art or whatever, and this really only applies to what I'm doing with ponies, but I'll sit down and I'll first do a sketch with the Wacom tablet. First thing I'll do, like with a comic, is go into Word and actually write out a script of everything that's going to happen and what they're going to say and sound effects and things. And then I'll translate that to a really rough, horrible-looking kind of freehand drawing of how it's going to look. And then I'll go in with a mouse in Photoshop and just create a lot of curves. And that's sort of how I build up the ponies, because I took 1-2 classes in Illustrator in school, and I don't remember anything about it. So I can't really do vectors, so I sort of cheat with Photoshop by creating lots of half circles and segments of circles and things to kind of build up the pony in that show style with the broad, brightly colored outline and then the fill within. So that's kind of how I fake it.
Awesome.
What do you think your best work of art was on your pony-related art?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I generally hate my art. I mean, I don't hate it, but I'm generally never happy with it. I will upload something and look at it and realize the 30 mistakes I've made, and then I'll spend the next hour re-uploading several times to get it right where I want it. I'm never truly happy.
That's
So
how a lot of people are. They're like, oh, I did a really good drawing. I'm gonna upload it. No, I upload it. Oh, it sucks.
we're our own worst critics. I mean, artists are just so hard on each other in general. So I don't know. Picking out my favorite piece that I've done. Thinking. I've really liked. I will say I've liked the felt style art that I've done.
Yeah,
Yes, that one is really nice.
That's become a big thing right now. Like I see it all over Equestria Daily right now.
Yeah, and people are doing amazing stuff, and it's really fun because it's not as time consuming. It's not as micromanagey, if that's a word. I just made up that word as regular art because at this point, like at least with Trixie, I have this little toolkit of shapes and eyes and things that I can just piece together and tell a little story with these faux felt bits and pieces, and it's fun. It's sort of like being a little kid and playing with cutout pieces of construction paper or color forms or something. It's just really simple and fun. So those are probably the things I'm happiest with right now.
One of my favorites that's on your DeviantArt page is your parody of Strong Badia, which is from Homestar Runner, because I loved that when I was back in elementary school. That was my favorite thing to watch on the internet.
Me too. I mean, so many fond memories of like my friends and I gathering around the computer for the latest Spee mail, and those bygone days. I miss that. Now, unfortunately, there's all these heathens who have no idea what Strong Bad is, because on that piece of art I get all these notes saying I'm obviously on drugs or have been drinking when I came up with that. They don't understand the awesomeness that is Strong Bad.
I love the parody how Crackle replaces Trogdor.
It would, and thinking about it, I probably would have been better off with Discord because he's got the S shape. But Crackle, I can't resist Crackle. Crackle is best dragon. I
said S and more different S.
And then some consummate V's in there and a big beefy arm. Yeah.
Speaking of best dragon, what would be your opinion of best pony? I mean, I'm guessing it's Trixie, but
Yeah.
Let's start with who's your favorite main six pony?
yes.
Probably Twilight, although sometimes Rarity, because Rarity's kind of awesome too, especially when she goes all gung-ho, defending Spike or whatever. I really like that. But ever since the first episode, Twilight has obviously been the nerd pony of choice for a lot of us, I think. We can relate to that.
Yes.
A lot of my local friends are so interested in Rarity. They all love Rarity. I'm the one that's not like them. I like Rainbow Dash, and everyone's guys like, oh, why do you like her? She's so stuck up and stuff like that.
The problem is picking a favorite pony is almost impossible at this point. Early on, when we didn't know much about the characters, we all sort of gravitated in one way or another to a different pony. But now they've all had such amazing, rich stories and backgrounds. There's something to love in each and every one of them. So it's much more difficult to pick one than it used to be.
One does not simply pick a favorite pony.
No, this is true. Most of us have at least 6 favorite ponies. And your mileage may vary on which 6 those are, but...
Top 6.
Now, who is your favorite background pony? Of ponies who are, like, in the background have 1 to no lines.
Probably Lyra and Bonbon are tied for that. I love what they've been doing with them this season, how they've kind of picked up the fan... I don't know if it's shipping, but fan relationship with the two always kind of join together, and the animators are doing it now, and every time you see one, the other's there, and Bonbon wearing Lyra's backpack and things like that. It's really cool, and the more I see them, the more I love them. So.
It's the subtle stuff that really makes it pop.
It is.
And then the more like little stuff, like the littlest thing you notice of them being together, all the fans are like, "Oh, it's obvious they're a couple. You can see it right there."
Yeah, that's the best part, when the fan base thinks that something is meant to mean something when it doesn't.
I actually saw this comic that had these 2 human nerd-looking people that were like fat and overweight with ponytails. They're like, "Hey, look, it's Lyra and Bonbon. They're standing next to each other. They must be lesbians." Then they're looking at the humans. They're like, "Oh, look, how cute! Those guys are standing next to each other. They must be gay."
Well, that's sort of the purpose of a fandom, is to overanalyze and assign all kinds of nonsensical things, minutia, in the show that we love. So.
But sometimes it can lead to the best stuff. Like
It does.
Rainbow Factory, for example.
Oh,
yeah.
heck yeah. And the nice thing, imagine if, say, like with Lyra and Bonbon, they would have made a whole episode just about these two and what great friends they are or whatever. It wouldn't have had the same impact as just these little snippets of information we're fed in the
I
background of these
know.
episodes. It's so much more meaningful.
That's how I feel about Colgate. She's my favorite background pony.
She is
I
awesome.
I kind of prefer Carrot Top, just to be out there. I don't know what it is, but ever since the Trixie episode, I've noticed that her hair color has changed.
Well, I never.
That
So-
was so great.
I think that there's some messaging right there.
Peer pressure. It's not just for humans. Yeah.
Exactly.
Rarity induces peer pressure.
Well, she does sort of set the fashion standard for
Yeah.
Evil and Beyond. So
Besides the fact that when, like, what was it, Bon Bon and Berry Punch walk in, they're like, and you are?
But what about Zakura? I mean, she's sort of like that. At the very beginning, you didn't know much about.
Yeah.
So I think she's a pretty cool background pony too.
she's great. Although at this
Oh,
point,
Zebra.
I'm not even sure she's a background character.
Yeah, she's definitely not background anymore.
No,
She's
not
an
anymore.
official main character, or maybe an official main character. It's if you've had 2 episodes where you have speaking roles and the main ponies interact with you, I think you've made it to the big time.
Yeah.
You are now in the big league. So
I remember how, like, I was on Twitter and I saw, like, everyone's Twitter wall explode when they mentioned Trixie in the new episode.
Yeah, unfortunately, and that's what happened to me. I didn't get to experience it live because I was out at the time, and all of a sudden my phone actually has a Trixie alert on it where she just says, I guess we have some naysayers in the audience, and she started yelling at me nonstop. And I checked my Twitter, and it's all these people saying, "Oh my God, did you see it? There's Trixie." There's Trixie. So I didn't get that moment of unsurprised joy, but still, it was great. And as a Trixie apologist, I was very happy to see
I
that.
like Trixie.
Trixie is great, and
Yeah.
I've heard that Jason Thiessen likes Trixie as well. So hopefully that means we will see more of her in the future.
Well, there's one thing that lots of people would disagree with me with. Some people would. Don't tell Jackal app, but I really do not like Gilda.
Yeah, Gilda. I don't know what it is about her. I mean, Trixie was kind of a jerk too, and I think she's awesome. But Gilda, she was just too mean for me.
it's because you could sympathize with Trixie because she actually showed some grief and like sadness, but Gilda was just like off in a huff.
Yeah, and Trixie, I mean, my husband and I get into this argument all the time because he hates Trixie. But say what you will about her. When the Ursa did show up, she didn't just run away. She stood her ground and tried in her own sad, slightly pathetic way.
And then she confessed. At least she confessed. Gilda didn't do crap.
And there are several episodes where, as much as I love Rainbow Dash, she comes close to being just as terrible as Trixie was in that episode in terms of ego and boasting. And
Being a Rainbow Dash fan, I'm not afraid to admit that.
I'm more of an Applejack person, to be honest.
that's my husband too.
Oh, really?
She's his favorite pony, and it seems like that's the minority. Of all the ponies, Applejack seems to get the least.
Man,
love.
ever since Rarity got so much more better episodes, it's actually been said that Applejack is now the least popular, and I feel sorry for her.
I think we should trend Applejack. Just be like, bring Applejack
Yes, we
back
should. Everyone go on Twitter, hashtag Applejack.
Do it.
right now.
Even though this isn't live.
But
when you're listening to this.
yes.
Who are some other artists that you like on the pony fan base?
When I first started, way back, I guess it was March of last year, and I first started kind of watching the show and wanting to contribute in some small way, Egophiliac was the first artist that I really came across.
Oh, we're going to have him on our show later on. So maybe we could get you guys two together.
Here's a secret. Ego's actually a girl, too. So she's awesome. She's really great. I got to meet John Joseko at, I don't know if I'm saying his name wrong. If I am, I'm so sorry, John. I met him at BronyCon, and he was a really nice guy. Really great artist. Garrett Gilchrist, Tigerbug on DeviantArt. I really like his pony work. Really clean, really beautiful. So there's some just There's so many great artists, so many great musicians, so many great video tech type people working in this fandom, so many great writers. You could spend all day and never list all the people that you admire and really look up to in this fandom. It's incredible the amount of talent Ponies draws in.
What
It
about
is.
musicians?
What's that?
What about musicians?
Musicians, I really like the Living Tombstone.
He's good.
Hmm.
Eurobeat Brony was the first pony music I started listening to, and
That was pretty much everyone's favorite, like
yeah,
first favorite.
and that was weird. That was sort of my moment of truth in terms of the fandom when I admitted to myself that I'm sitting there and I'm actively making playlists of My Little Pony music.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have one of those? I mean, if you're a brony, you have one.
Yeah, but at that point, there's no going back. Once you've made a My Little Pony music playlist, the hook is in. There's no return.
It was actually originally the music that hooked me into My Little Pony.
Oh,
That's what I did with one of my friends.
It was.
I showed him the Living Tombstone remix of Discord, which was by Brony and remixed by Living Tombstone, and he loved it. And then I showed him Rainbow Factory. He got into so much more, the Eurobeat music and the techno music, and he loves a lot of the Brony electronic music, and he became a Brony.
that's great.
The thing that actually drew me in was the Discord song.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Discord song is amazing. I think that's responsible for changing a lot of people's minds about what this fandom is all about.
I've converted one or two people. Well, not converted, but yeah, I guess converted.
Brought them into the fold, yes.
Yeah, I've brought them into the herd with music. So
As I've heard, pixelkitties, you were like really early on the Brony fandom because you were like, I heard it on BronyCon chat on live stream that you were really early into the fandom.
No, actually, that's not true. I was a bit of a latecomer to the fandom. I guess the show started in what, October of 2010?
October 10, 2010.
I didn't really get into it until March, April of 2011, so I was actually coming a little late to it, and I don't think anyone knew who the heck I was for at least 6 months after that.
I actually came in on August 20th.
Of last year, or
Yeah, last year.
I came in approximately February 27th, 3 o'clock in the... No, joking. No, I came in like February, somewhere around the end of it. And I was just amazed by... The community was just amazing. Everyone was really nice, really welcoming.
Absolutely, that's one of the things that first changed my mind because I'd never really been part of any kind of internet fan base or anything like that. You know, they always seemed slightly creepy to me, filled with a lot of people arguing with each other over minutia. But when I first started kind of looking into the different pony forums and websites and the comment blocks on Equestria Daily and derpyhooves.com, at the time at least, people were just so welcoming. I mean, it was more really a sharing of ideas and a shared passion than it was kind of trying to be, I don't know, the first one to say a certain thing or to come to a certain conclusion or fighting over, just what shade of green Fluttershy's eyes are supposed to be.
They're aquamarine, damn it.
Exactly.
Well, I always notice that the Brony community is always welcoming. They're mostly friendly people. However, there's still some of the trolls out there as called parasprites.
Yeah, then that's something that I hate to say, but is a bit of a more recent kind of thing that's been happening, and I think that's just sort of part of any fandom going through.
Yeah,
its
I regret ever going on PonyChan. I'd never been on any Chan websites before I went on PonyChan.
Right.
And that was when I had my first pony troll encounter or a power sprite encounter, and they were mean people.
And see, even that, one of the first places I went to was PonyChan, and I've never been to 4chan really. I'm kind of afraid of it, but PonyChan, at the time at least, when I was first kind of getting into this, was a much nicer place. In fact, a lot of the first art I did was on PonyChan. People at the time were hosting little contests like, draw a Rainbow Dash and Rarity hanging out, and if I'll pick the best picture and give you such and such toy, or draw my OC pony and you'll win this coloring book or whatever. And that's kind of how I got my start. Now it's not quite the same there anymore, but
yeah, I haven't gone to any PonyChan or sites like that. Because
So-
lately I've heard negative reviews of them, so I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
So what were some other music that you went to after Eurobeat Brony?
I'm trying to remember back. There was sort of this period between Eurobeat Brony where that's all I was listening to, and then sort of this explosion
Yeah, that
of
was
all
me.
kinds of awesome new artists. Living Tombstone, obviously. Mike the Microphone, Alex S is amazing. So at this point, it's sort of the same as with artists and fan fiction. There's almost too much quality stuff to really keep up with. So
I know.
you sort of gravitate to what you know, and every so often something new sneaks in, but you just can't keep up with it all. It's overwhelming sometimes.
I went through the phase where as soon as I got introduced to the music, I found one song every week, and I would just put that one song on repeat. Like, if you saw me walking down the street and you pulled out my headphones for some reason, started listening, it would just be that one song, no matter
that
what.
was me. That was me when I first heard the song Luna by Eurobeat Brony.
Yes. Oh, God, yes.
Yeah. That's a great song.
I haven't actually heard that one, so I'm kind of embarrassed to say that.
You know, the song that I've really liked recently is from the Friendship is Witchcraft series. The song that Luna sings in her episode. It's so silly and so cute, but I've really been enjoying listening to that kind of on loop lately.
I like the Sweetie Bot race.
Oh yes! Oh my God! Yes, definitely. Sweetie Bot race is epic as well. Yes.
Yeah. Every time I'm doing like a live stream where I'm playing some music and there's only like 4 people there, everyone keeps saying, "Play Pinky's Brew."
That's a good one.
Yes, absolutely.
One of my favorites has to be Nightmare Night.
Oh yes.
Good.
It is a very well done song. But I think I don't know. I don't pay attention too much to like the trends of the Brony music. But whenever a really good Brony dubstep comes out, I know not a lot of Bronies. Hang on, I don't know what I'm saying right now. Hang on.
Well,
Anyways,
And then it went that way, and
yeah,
that's okay.
it was just I passed my point somewhere and then forgot it.
Well, eventually we might make a U-turn and come back to it, and then.
Oh well. My opinions on the music, like, my favorite is Mando Pony, as most people on my Twitter can tell.
Oh yes.
People can tell that I'm obsessed with Mando Pony. Every time he comes out with a new song, I go right away, unless I'm not at home and I am away. And I'm all like, oh, I'm missing a song because I have mobile notifications turned on my phone for certain people, and Mando Pony's one of them. And whenever he releases a new song and I'm not home, I'm like, oh no, I'm missing it.
Oh.
And then the depression kicks in.
Yeah. One of my favorite songs by him was, what first got me into it was his demo track for Long Way from Equestria. And ever since then, I loved that. And then, like, months later, when he was getting more popular, he eventually teamed up with Acoustic Brony, did some more songs. And then he did a master track of Long Way from Equestria. I love it. Mm-hmm. And I love all of his songs. They're amazing. That
was actually the song that introduced me to Mando Pony.
Hey, Mando Pony, if you're listening to this, hi! You too, Ed and Jimmy.
Moving along.
Yes. Break the awkward silence.
There is a new episode coming out this Saturday.
That is true.
And called MMM Mystery on the Friendship Express.
Mystery.
Mystery, yes. How do you roll M's? I'm not sure that's actually possible.
Mystery.
I don't know, but all I know is when I typed in MMM on Google, that was the first thing that came up.
Nice.
So,
well, it's because the Brony...
Yeah, keep doing it, Bronies.
Dominates Google searches.
So it should be fun.
I am looking forward to it. I look forward to every episode, though. I mean...
And then there's always all the memes on MiloBrony.com that say, that moment when you realize there's only 4 or 3 episodes left in the season, and then it has some picture of some guy crying.
I've been trying not to think about that. I am very sad to see the end approaching.
Well, then after the season's over, then we have some time to get the weight off our shoulders and get to work on what we want to do to contribute to the fandom. So then we're not like waiting, like, oh, what's the new episode gonna be? I'm gonna hold this off until later.
That's a very good point. Yeah, the rush to be relevant with the new episodes can be a little bit intimidating. So it's nice to just sort of do things at your own pace during the between season break.
That was actually how I started like writing my own song demos. Like it was on the weekend when I missed BronyCon, and I just like took out a pencil and some paper, threw that out. Then I went on the computer, started typing up lyrics and typing up chord progressions, and then I just made up my own songs from there. And right now they're all demo tracks. I'm trying to get better recording equipment. I should be getting that soon, and yeah.
See, I have a very short attention span, and I tried to make 2 Brony songs, and I got halfway through them, and I'm like, oh, this is sounding amazing. And I just kind of did something else and forgot about them.
I did get to use professional-ish equipment for my grad project, which I actually did like a whole band set up with me playing all the instruments for some Christmas music I did for my graduation project.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's
a
really good accomplishment.
Yeah.
It's on my YouTube channel.
Everyone check out his YouTube channel right now.
It is Dan Gartner7. You can find it on my Twitter page. It'll have a link on there.
I will be checking that out.
So if you check on YouTube, the Hub has actually released, I don't know if it's the Hub or just Hub, but they have released a sneak peek of Mystery on the Friendship Express.
To avoid those. No spoilers.
I think they've actually released 2. The first one was if you completed a little puzzle on the Hub website, you would get a little sneak peek. And it wasn't even little; it was like a 2-minute sneak peek. And then I think just maybe even last night, they released yet another one. So
yeah, I saw that on
rate, we're gonna get a full episode by the time it airs tomorrow.
Well, there's already like previews of it on the commercials of the Hub. Like I'm watching it on a live stream of the new episode, and I see it on a commercial. It's like, hey, check out the new episode. It's going to be about this, this, and that. And I'm like, no, Hub, you're releasing spoilers right in my face on your own channel.
I have to admit, I don't really mind the spoilers. In fact, I tend to spoil myself. I seek out every bit of my information.
I used to do that until I realized how disappointing it is when you watch the episode.
Yes, I feel when I watch a spoiler, I tend to overthink it. Now I'll think of too many things about the episode, and I'll either make it, I'll either raise my expectations way too high, or I'll just lose interest because I'll figure something else out in my head.
I'm wondering how many predictions people are going to make in between the season finale, because there's going to be a 2-part episode, and I'm wondering, in between that week of those 2 episodes, how many predictions are going to be made about what's going to happen, and people are going to be like, oh, no, this is going to happen. No.
Easily over 9,000.
Now, actually, I could be wrong about this, but I think they're airing the episodes back-to-back on the same day. I think.
Oh, that would be amazing.
There's a week gap, but I could be wrong about that. I thought I remember reading that.
I'll have to look on the wiki. And, yeah, I'll look it up sometime, maybe.
That would actually be amazing if they played them back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just looked it up. 2012-04-21. Canterlot Wedding 1 and 2. So.
All right.
So we won't have to wait. It'll just all happen, and then it'll be over.
That meant when we realized you're watching 2 new episodes on the same day.
Yep. Followed by Swallow Sadness when the second episode credits roll.
Well, I mean, if you're into other animated shows, there is Legend of Korra, but nothing compares to MLP.
Yeah. Well, you realize throughout season 2, they've had like different songs for some of the credits. Like in episode 2, they had like a really awesome orchestra arrangement for the end of the episode on the credits. And Friend Indeed with Cranky Doodle Donkey, it had like a little piano arrangement of the Yankee Doodle Dandy song.
That's right, yes.
And I'm wondering what they're going to have for the last episode. I hope it's something awesome.
I hope so too.
Like in episode 2 where they had the orchestra arrangement. That was my favorite one.
That was great, yes. I love that.
And speaking of credits, you ever realize how in every pony-related video that someone puts up on YouTube, the end of the video is just my little pony, and it gets so annoying after a while because that's the only thing you hear on those videos.
Some of them seem to do it ironically, especially when they're taking more of a bizarre concept and then throwing up the regular theme at the end. But yeah, I've noticed that too.
I feel that if you're just introducing someone to the show, the intro is something you definitely don't want to show them because it is.
You see it on Teens React.
Yeah. If
What
you
is this? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually liked
only one person on there had the right idea. He was like, "Oh my god, I am so watching this."
Yeah,
And
that guy's a true Brony.
And we're all thinking he's got the right idea.
I really liked the Bronies React to Teens React to for that video.
Yeah, that was the best. Look, everybody, I dressed myself up today.
Oh man, Yaplap's neighbors must hate him.
I remember in an interview he did, someone asked him, was like, "Do the cops ever get involved?" He's like, yeah, the cops are bronies too.
Brony cops, you heard it.
Interesting fact, there's actually a meetup I go to in Lehigh where it's at a community college. The professor there is a brony and he runs the meetups.
Oh, nice.
I am
That
so
is
going to
one
that
step
college.
closer to me going to that college now.
I gotta go to that college. And I've only been to one meetup so far, and that is where I also acquired my first pony toy. I got a blind bag, Pinkie Pie, and some kind of European special version of this unknown pony named Plum Sweet.
Yes. Which Plum Sweet is actually a brushable pony as well now.
Yes, that's the one I got.
Oh, okay, yes.
With like a little cart with an oversized hamster in it.
Yeah, the pets don't make a lot of sense.
I know.
I think that they should at least have their pets
I know.
instead of just random animals.
Yeah, Rainbow Dash should have Tank.
Like, I got a Pinkie Pie and she had a hedgehog. I'm like,
Really?
why not Gummy? I'll probably post a picture on Twitter later tonight, but
Yeah.
For the next BronyCon, my husband actually, he works in product design and he made gummies and owliciouses and opalescences to sell at the convention.
Oh,
in
that
the
is
same size
amazing.
of the pets. So I'm looking forward to
I remember
showing
seeing-
people those.
that's going to get a lot of attention.
I remember seeing one guy on DeviantArt who does, actually multiple people on DeviantArt, even some guy at the meetup I go to, they take the brushable mane ponies and they style their hair to make it look like the actual mane in the show, and they sell them, or they even take requests from people who give it to them, they style the mane, they give it back to the person with that mane style.
That's impressive. I've tried to do that. I mean, I have tons of ponies, but I'm not as good at styling their hair as some of these people. They just do an amazing
I only have five
job.
I only have 5 so far. 3 blind bags. I got Twilight Sparkle, Pinkie Pie, and a recolored Twilight Sparkle named Firecracker Burst, which is really cool looking.
Yep.
A McDonald's Applejack, which I got this year, but it's the last year edition for some reason.
That happened with my Applejack too, yeah.
And then I also got the Plum Sweet.
Now, there is a person on DeviantArt named Kwaimo, and he has 2 tutorials. They're really well done.
They are.
Of how to style and, like, groom the hair to make them look like in the show and stuff.
I'm going to try that.
I tried it, but I failed horribly because I don't have the proper stuff.
Well, when I used to have long hair, I used to be able to style it myself, so I might be able to do it. Maybe. Then again, I saw one person on Twitter who was trying to style their mane, and then all the hair fell out, so they had to take the head off and stuff it back in.
Sad. You know, some of the first toys they released was this gift set with Twilight and Applejack and Pinkie Pie and Spike, and they had plastic hair that looked really nice. It was super show accurate. Yeah. And they never made the rest of the main ponies. I wish they would have, because they're great. They're some of my favorite toys.
I would definitely get those. I mean, the other, I think it was a week ago, I went into a Zellers.
Besides the fact that Spike is on 4 legs instead of 2.
Yeah, that's not right.
Poor Spike. Even on the toy design thingy where it says, buy all these toys, they mix up the names between Apple Bloom and Scootaloo. The one with the yellow body and red hair, it says Scootaloo. The one with the orange body and pink hair says Apple Bloom. Why do you name your toys right, Hasbro?
And then there's poor Celestia, who is pink all the time, but the picture on the box is white.
Yes.
Yeah. They even decided to remake one. Now there is a white one that is available in stores.
Actually, for their cheerlead toys.
Fall, I think. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
And also,
Trixie and Lyra and Sakura.
there's even one with this like flap my wing sort of thing. And it has a picture of Pinkie Pie and it has wings on it. What the heck is Pinkie Pie doing with wings?
There was actually, I think a recall maybe, but they had a bunch of cheerlead toys, and they messed up the cutie mark because it just had one big flower on it. And
Like the McDonald's toys, sort of.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was like the full-on like groomable and everything, and I was just baffled.
It seems like, and I hope this is the case. I mean, with the announcement of this, super big gift set of these sort of show ponies like Lyra and Trixie, it seems like Hasbro is finally starting to understand that there's this huge fan base with disposable income who are just waiting to buy these things if they just make them, and the White Celestia. So hopefully we'll be seeing more of that, because
Yeah.
I mean, I understand your main demographic is 5-year-old girls, and they like pink things, and they're more to the point, their parents buy the pink things. And
There is always the pink aisle.
But 5-year-old girls don't have oodles of disposable income. Adults do, so throw us a bone here.
Well, here's one thing I learned. Well, there's a quote from Walt Disney that says, "You're dead if you only aim for kids. Adults are only grown-up kids anyway," or something like that. And then there's also something I learned. Age is nothing more than a number, so ponies are for every age.
They definitely are. And I think they've kind of figured that out at this point. I think there is a transition in how they're marketing. Just look at, like, even with the wedding episode, the season ender episode, they're making a huge deal out of it. I mean,
I know.
All these weird kind of things, like setting up a website, being hosted by celebrities, and putting billboards, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah, there's actually billboards in cities, like around in somewhere on the West Coast. I saw it was on Equestria Daily. Somewhere on the West Coast, there's actually a billboard with that royal wedding on My Little Pony advertisement on there. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
I know earlier this year they put somebody in charge of the PR for My Little Pony, who also worked in PR for Transformers, which is another fandom that has just as many, if not more, adult fans and collectors as children. So I hope that we're seeing a change, kind of a sea change in how they're approaching their fan base and their unexpected fan base, i.e. us, in the process.
I actually like the old Transformers more.
Yeah, don't get me started on the Michael Bay Transformers.
Yeah.
I actually saw a knockoff movie in my Blockbuster down the street. Yes, Transmorphers.
And there's a sequel. There's like Transmorphers 2 and 3 as well. So yeah.
Dark Side of the Sun.
I remember when.
Go ahead, sir.
Actually, I'm not going to get into talk about the Transformers movies. I'm just going to say, when I first heard Dark of the Moon, I was like, Dark of the Moon, is that Pink Floyd? Isn't that Pink Floyd? And like, oh, it's not Pink Floyd. I don't care. I'm a Pink Floyd
Michael
freak.
Bay, forget that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Pink Floyd freak. Cool. Awkward silence.
Moving on. I think that if there is going to be one type of thing from Hasbro on the MLP side that would get the most money, it would be a movie.
Everyone keeps saying that, and my defense, even though I'm just joking around when I say this, there's already been two. There's been The Elements of Harmony and The Return of Harmony, and there's going to be another one, The Royal Wedding. And those are my just ways to defend it, but everyone knows I'm just joking around because I obviously am. They're not really movies. We want a movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm of two minds of it, because on one hand, I think a movie could be really cool, but on the other hand, it could really be bad too, depending.
Yeah, there could
how
be
it's
some
handled.
big downfalls of it that people don't realize. That people keep saying, "No, we want a movie." They don't realize there could be like a big downfall of it.
Just don't do live action.
Oh God.
Also, no humans.
Yes, no humans.
But yeah, I don't know. I think if I had to pick, if it was like movie or fourth season, I'd rather have a fourth season.
Oh,
Yes,
definitely. You
definitely.
can fit more hours into a season than a movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. And with the movie, there's also, I mean, when you're releasing something in the theaters, and I don't know whether it be theaters or direct to DVD or what, but there's this need to not only cater to your established audience, but to sell it to people who would never normally pick it up. So there's going to be
Yeah.
some amount of, I don't want to say dumbing down, but having to re-explain things that maybe we already know, or less catering to the fans in terms of things like Lyra and Bon Bon and Derpy and whatnot, just to grab new audiences who don't know or don't care about these sort of things we've gotten used to with the show. So I don't know. Not that I would, if the movie came out, I would be there opening day. Have no doubt. So.
Got the tent ready, the sleeping bag.
Exactly. Exactly.
One question for you: what actually made you come up with the style for your OC?
That's a good question. Oh, I know. Now I remember. The Pony Creator, the little program that General Zoe made. A
lot of people use that.
People kept saying, "Oh, you need to make an OC pony." So I said, "Okay," and I went in there and I just sort of played with it to find the colors I liked and sort of square everything away. And then I took that and expanded on it a bit, and I gave it my pigtails because that's usually how I wear my hair, and that's about it. And as time went on, she sort of became more of a Trixie homage with the little scarf thing and all that. But
if I were to give an honest opinion, no offense intended, it actually looks like Twilight if she was like a preteen with curly hair and glasses.
I could see that with the stripe in the hair. And yeah. Yep. No.
That's actually how I kind of pictured it.
It's at this point, it's an uphill battle making an OC that's not reminiscent of something else or something better.
I actually struggled with creating my OC for a while. I've had 7, and I hated them all. So
I actually tried to make my OC look how I would look if I were to be a pony. So I tried to give it my hairstyle, give it my personality, and think of like what would be the coolest thing to have. I was like, oh, Pegasus, that'd be it. And then I give it the guitar for a cutie mark because I love playing music, even though I play way more than just guitar. And I tried to match my hairstyle. And then when I got a short haircut, now my hair is short instead of long. And then I tried to change it, and in progress change that, I forgot to change the eye color, the nose shape, and I forgot to import the cutie mark. And there were so many times where people were like, "What happened to your OC? He looks so different." So I had to keep going. So I had to go everywhere where I had my OC re-uploaded and re-upload it again. And that was like kind of a struggle, but now I finally fixed it so it looks how I want it to be until I grow my hair long again. I'll have to change it again.
Oh gosh.
Luckily, I used the code copier thingy on the General Zoe Pony Creator and just put it on a Word document so I have it ready next time.
Let us all take a moment to thank General Zoe.
Thank you, General Zoe.
Thank you, General Zoe. Absolutely. Thanks. And at the same time, that thing has been responsible for a lot of terrifying OCs that have come about with bat wings and alicorns with bat wings and
the broken
reindeer horns.
Black hair with a black coat and black eyes and
the broken horn is like kind of the scariest part I've seen.
Yes, I've seen that too. It's like, that would hurt. Yikes.
Jeez.
There's also the flying green monster. If you don't know what that is, trust me, you don't want to.
The flying green monster? I guess I don't. The first thing I think of when I think of a flying green monster, I think of a creeper.
Yes, Minecraft.
Yeah, even though I never played it.
Neither have I, but the creeper transcends Minecraft at this point.
Yeah. There's even something I saw, a parody. It has a picture of like a creeper with like a happy face on it, like a cartoon happy face, and it says, "My little creeper, explosions are magic." I thought that was the best thing ever.
There's actually an amazing mod for Minecraft called My Little Pony. Sorry, what is it? Ponycraft. There it is.
Yeah, there was actually some guy, Uber Haxor Nova, used that for like a little bit on one of his series on Minecraft that he was playing on YouTube, and like I looked at the screen for the first time. I see Rarity's cutie mark on the background. I was like, My Little Pony? Oh my gosh! And then I look at all the top comments like, My Little Pony, woo!
Yeah, I saw that. I saw it from Yogscast. We're actually in the middle of making their own game, but I got introduced to the Ponycraft from that. And I cursed the day I got a Mac because there's no way in hell I could install a mod like that with a Mac.
Well, that sucks for me. I got a Mac.
Yeah, the pony stuff is amazing because on one hand you get pulled into pony, you can get brought into My Little Pony by all these various avenues, but then you get into My Little Pony and all these crossovers and things can lead you into all kinds of different directions for other, I don't know, movies, pursuits, games that you never would have thought of just because somebody has associated with pony. And now you think, well, I should go check this thing out since it went together with My Little Pony so well.
Even for so many people, My Little Pony is because it's like a happy type of show, it's like an antidepressant for some people, and I view that as a really good thing. Like, it helps a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Especially if everyone in the world were to listen to the song Smile, 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 everyone would be smiling.
That song was stuck in my head for 2 weeks.
I'm actually kind of sad that they moved the show to later in the day because I was relishing that nostalgia of getting up like first thing and going downstairs in pajamas, watching My Little Pony with a giant bowl of cereal. It's not the same at 1 p.m.
I know.
Well, you could always sleep in and then still have the same nostalgic, just waking up slightly later, but early.
Yeah, but then you see it's already getting late after you watch this. It's already getting towards snack time or dinner time after the episode airs. And
that is true.
Oh, it's already that late.
But I think that does say something about which fan base they're aiming towards. Because
right.
The little kids are the ones that get up early.
Yeah.
So
maybe they were doing it for us. Then again, we miss those days where we were waking up early, so just like she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do kind of miss that. I have to say, while, it's weird that they're releasing so many trailers and spoiler stuff at this point.
I know.
It makes my, trying to do a relevant comic every week so much easier, getting these little ideas of what the episode is about. I'm able to anticipate what my comic is going to be and start working on it before 5 minutes after it airs like I usually have to.
I remember seeing something on Mando Pony's Twitter. He was like, I have no idea what's going on in this episode. Hashtag avoiding spoilers like a boss. And then everyone goes on his Twitter and says, spoiler, it has ponies in it.
Well, now it's just ruined.
There will be a lesson about friendship somewhere in the episode.
Even though some of the episodes you don't hear them write a letter.
Or if you're Applejack, you didn't need to write a letter because you knew.
Yeah.
I didn't learn anything.
I always love that.
That is one of the best. That was brilliant.
I didn't learn anything.
I was right all along. And that episode in particular, I really like that it shows this carryover that, heck, most children's cartoons don't even come close to accomplishing, where Applejack realizes she needs help. She needs her friends. She can't do it alone. That's a direct reference to the lesson she learned earlier. Most shows, at the end of the episode, the characters just default back to whatever state they were before, and they never re-reference whatever they've learned before or adventures they've had before. And My Little Pony is great about that.
They referenced way back to Applebuck season, where she realized that she needs help from her friends, and she just remembers that right away.
Even the Trixie callback in this latest episode. I keep saying that's not very good. Anyway, when I was a kid, at least, children's cartoons, at least the ones dealing with toy lines and masquerading as commercials, were oftentimes it was just all self-contained. So any kid coming in, channel surfing, landing on it, could just pick it up and know what was going on and just watch it. And there was no need for any kind of continuity. But now we get these things where if you're watching it, you have no idea if you've never seen an episode before, you have no idea who the great and powerful Trixie is. But they're still throwing it in there. And it's, again, showing this great continuity that it just kind of elevates it above a lot of children's programming for me.
If there's actually one thing I love about lots of children's shows, there's so many jokes that kids will never get. And all the adults will get.
Yes.
Especially the punch has been spiked, obvious joke that everyone gets but no kid will get.
Season 1, Episode 1 had the most amount of those, like when Twilight said, easy there, Casanova, when Spike walked into Twilight's room with a lampshade over his head.
I remember even something I saw in SpongeBob where Plankton's like, "Out my way, Methuselah," and like Methuselah, that's like some old guy from the Bible.
Old Testament callbacks? My goodness, that's...
And no kid would understand that unless they go to church and they listen. Which,
But what kid does that? I mean, it's not fun.
Yeah, I know that. We are really drifting off topic.
Well, we are.
Topic?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
Yes. Oh, God, we're back to Michael Bay. No.
Oh, no.
If you actually want to see something funny on Michael Bay, I will put it up on my Twitter page. It's a comic I saw called Someone Butcher Bay. It's by this comic artist and it's by this comic artist, internet alias Alfredo Afro. His real name is Rob Kersey from the band Psycho Stick. He's a singer for a comedy metal band. Most people know the song "Beer is good, beer is good, beer is good" stuff. There's a lot of other songs they do that are really good. And he does this comic series called Alfredo Afro, and one of them is called Someone Butcher Bay. It has a picture of Steven Spielberg looking at the script. He's like, "Hey, I got the script for you, Mr. Spielberg." Just the same thing as all three other Transformers movies, just big breasts and explosions. Is he okay? Then it cuts to Michael Bay, and he's got like a drawing table with crayons, and he's got a bib on. He's like, "Durr, I make movies."
That's pretty much how I assume his creative process works. Although in my version, he's sitting on a huge pile of money while he's doing it.
Yeah. There's actually another comic like that about Nickelback. It says, "Hi, I'm that guy from Nickelback. People really hate us now." And then he sits on a pile of money and he's like, "I don't really give a crap."
I hate to say this, but we are approaching the end of the podcast.
Yeah, we are.
This was great, though. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming. It's been an honor.
It was really good.
Where am I going to be able to find this awesome podcast?
We are
going
going
to be on a YouTube channel and also SoundCloud, and if it gets popular enough, we'll put it on iTunes as well.
Well, I hope it does, because I want to download it week to week with little to no effort, so it just appears magically on my computer. As it should.
Yep.
Because magic is the best thing.
Magic.
Yes.
And then share it with your friends, because friendship is magic.
Yes. Share with all your friends.
Anyways.
Awesome. Yay.
We are already getting plenty of followers on Twitter. We already got, I think we got Dusty Cat, and we already got, of course we got you.
Hey, that's me, yes.
Yeah. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Well, I keep retweeting as much as I can, as quickly as I can, as hard as I can to get the word out, because you guys are great.
Thank you.
I'm hoping we can get some really good musicians up here, too.
Well, we had some Brony musicians. I'm not going to spoil it. But we have some pretty good Brony musicians in the lineup coming on. I wish. Hopefully, if he hears this, you think so? Maybe or.
I'm Mando Pony. Yeah.
Friday the 13th, we might have some Brony musicians.
Yeah.
Other than that, yes, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Roll credits for the first time.
Bye, little pony.